Okay, so as we're doing the Unit 3 review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the graphs, and I'm going to answer the questions 1 through 7, and then we'll go to the paper and look at the questions. But I want you to be able to look at the graph while I'm doing the graph. So, while we're looking at it. So, let me turn on my ink pen. I'm real particular about what it looks like. All right, so question number 1. Let me make it smaller. Okay, I don't need to. Question number 1 asks which relations were a direct variation. Remember, direct variation is y equals kx. So when x equals 0, y equals 0, which means it always, always, always has to go through the origin. So if y equals kx, we're going through the origin. This one for sure is graph B, because it goes through the origin. A does not, C does not, and D does not. So B is the only one that's a direct variation. Now, the positive slopes are graph A and graph B and not graph C, and not graph D. So A and B are the only ones with positive slopes. Okay, so let's look at graph A. What is the slope and what does it mean? Well, I'm going to look at some perfect points, which there are not. Here's one. And here's a really big one. Okay, notice the units are counting up by 2s. So as I count my rise, I'm going 2, 4, 6. And my run is going by 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is 6 over 4, which happens to be 3 over 2. I'm going to leave it 3 over 2. And it is, I'm using my words right here, salary per years of service. So it's salary per years of service. So it means that I'm graphing, the slope tells me how much a salary increases based on how many years of service. So as the years of service increase, the salary rate increases. The y-intercept is 8. And what does that mean? It means starting salary. I'm writing this down. Starting salary is $8 an hour when you have no years of service, when you're brand new to the company. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out which of these lines is going to be the correct equation. We already know the slope is 3 over 2, so it's either going to be B, could possibly be, C could possibly be, D is not because it's not negative. So all we really need to know is our y-intercept positive or negative? Hopefully you're not paying someone $8 an hour to work there. So let's choose B. Okay, now we're going to look at one that's also an equation for the line. This isn't standard form. You know what? I'll do that in a second. And we'll do number 7 in a second, because we can do this without the graph. Okay, let's look at graph number B. So I'm looking at question number 8. So what is the slope of the line for graph B? Well, I have 2 points already. Notice that I'm counting by 1s in both directions. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go over 1, 2. So my slope is 4 over 2, which is 2. And that is the profit per box sold. So it's $2 for every box you sell. So for 0.48, which is right here, what does that mean? That means profit of $8 for selling 4 boxes. What does the y-intercept mean? It's right here. We just talked about that a little bit. You sell 0 boxes. How much profit do you get? Zero profit. If the profit were decreased to $1 per box, how would that affect the number of boxes it takes to make $8? So if the profit were decreased to $1 per box, that's the slope. So we're talking about changing the slope from 2 to 1. So you're going to end up with 1 box is $1, and 2 boxes $2, and 3 boxes $3, and 4 boxes $4. How long is it? How many boxes is it going to take you to get to $8? It's going to take you 8 boxes, which would be 4 more boxes. So A. All right, let's look at graph number C. Graph number C. Graph C. Okay, what's the slope of the line? Well, first of all, we know it's negative, and I'm going to look for pretty points, which is hard to tell, but it looks like there's one there. So it looks like every 2. Okay, so it looks like we're going up 1 and over 2. So my slope is going to be negative 1/2. The y-intercept is 0, 1. Okay, and the inequality sign is going to be, it's down here. So that's less than because the y values are smaller. And it's a solid line, so it's going to be less than or equal to. So I'm going to put a little circle around less than or equal to. Okay, and then we can do 15. Well, we can do, okay, let's do 15. So we know the slope, well, we know the slope and the y-intercept, and we know that. So it's going to be y, we'll do that in a second. Okay, 16, we're looking for ordered pairs that are a solution. So any ordered pair that's a solution is going to be on the line or in this bottom area right here. So if I look at 0, 0, is it in the shaded part? Yes. Look at B, 2, 0, it's on the line, but the line's solid, so yes, it's a solution. 0, 2, not a solution. Negative 1, negative 4, totally a solution. Negative 3, positive 7, totally not a solution. And 6, negative 2 is on the line, but the line is solid, so it is a solution. All right, graph D. What is the slope of the relationship that we have right here? And it is, we're going to take these 2 points right here. I'm going to go down, it's going by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, and I'm going over 2. So I have 20 over 2, which is 10. So what does that mean? It means that there's 10 tickets less, because it's going down, right, each hour. So every hour he's using 10 tickets. What's the x-intercept? Ooh, what's the x-intercept? 5 hours, 5, 0. After 5 hours, how many tickets does he have? He is out of ticket. Sam has no tickets. Which answer choice could be another point on the graph? 1 and 45. Well, we know we're going down by 10, right? So 40 and 1 and 40 would be a point, not a choice. 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 10, and 5 and 0. So 3 and 20 right there, B. Okay, so now I'm going to slide down here and I'm going to fill in the answers with you, with you. All right, so direct variation was B, has to go through origin. That's supposed to be an R. Okay, and the positive slopes are A and B. For graph A, the slope was 3 over 2, which is salary increase, I guess is what I should say, per year. My handwriting's worse. Okay, the y-intercept is 0, 8. and 8, so your starting salary is what that is. So when you have no experience or no, what do you call that? Years of service. When you're new to the company, your starting salary is going to be $8 per hour. All right, so we found the equation in slope-intercept form. What was that one? And we were going to talk about, I was going to talk about what else is an equation for the y. So think about what this means. If I take b and I change it so that it has 0 on the right. This isn't standard form because these guys are over on the left, so it's not really standard form, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to subtract 3/2 x over to this side. So I'm going to have 3/2 x over here minus 3/2 x over here. And then I'm also going to take away my 8. So I'm just going to do everything all at once. So I'm going to have y, no I'm not. I'm going to have minus 3/2 x plus y minus 8 equals 0. I'm going to multiply the whole thing times -2 to get rid of the negative and the fraction. So I'm going to end up with positive 3x minus 2y plus 16 equals 0. So my answer would be none of them. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I guess it's supposed to be A, but the 2y should really be negative. So I'm not really sure what that is. So I'll be sure and change that next time. But I'm looking. I can't imagine that there shouldn't have been another one. Okay, so, because this is positive. That's the answer, and there is an answer choice there. Okay, but my slope is -3/2, and I want to keep the same slope. So I'm going to have y equals -3 over 2x, because my slope is the same for parallel. And I want it to go through 4, so I'm going to put plus 4. Okay. B, we said the slope of the line was $2, and that was the profit per box sold. And 4/8 is sell 4 boxes, make $8 profit. What does the y-intercept mean? The y-intercept is 0, 0. It means that if you haven't sold any boxes, sell 0 boxes, get 0 profit. Okay, and if the profit were decreased to $1 per box, we talked about how you would have to sell 4 more boxes to make the $4 more. Alrighty, graph C. The slope of the line was -1/2. The y-intercept was 0, 1. We decided it was a less than or equal to. So the graph is going to be y less than or equal to 1/2 x. Oops, it's negative, isn't it? -1/2 x plus 1. So this one is the same, and this one is the same. Because I can have -1/2 x plus 1, or I could have 1 minus 1/2 x. So B or C. Those are both correct. Okay, we went through the inequalities by looking at them on the graph, and we decided these were inequalities and these were not, because they were not in the shaded area. Graph D, the slope was 10 over 1 or 10, and that is 10 tickets less each hour. Okay, and the x-intercept is 5, 0 after 5 hours. No tickets left. And then another point on the graph, we looked at all the points and we found B to be the other point on the graph. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into part 2 and do this all on the same video. So let's see how easily I do this like that. Okay, I don't want that. I want my pen, and I want a different color because how boring is that red? So let's change to purple. I want to make it skinny because I like it skinny. Okay, so the baker's designing a cake, yada yada. So the total height of the cake is 7.5 doesn't change, and the 3.5 is what changes each layer. Slope of the graph is 3.5 more inches per layer. So if I was going to make a graph, this would be my x and this would be my y. So the y-intercept would be when there's no layers. It's still going to be 7.5 inches because no layers, only the decoration. It's going to be 7.5 inches. Okay, so the slope is what I'm going up by, right? So plus 2 plus 50. So the slope is 50 over 2 or 25. It means 25 centimeters more per weight. So each time you add a weight, one weight, it's going to increase 25 centimeters, that spring that's being stretched. Okay, and the y-intercept is, if I go back to, what happens? If I added a 0, that's interesting. Okay, so if I go back to is what I'm thinking. If I go back to this way, then I have to go back 50, which is going to give me a negative length, which is kind of weird. But it's going to be 35, it's going to be like a negative 15. And I don't know what that means. That means that somebody messed up the measurement. Means that, well, it means that I don't like that. Huh, okay, we're just going to leave it like that, and I'm going to put a question mark because it means the spring is smaller than it ever was. I don't know. Okay, so, but let's keep going. So I'm looking for an equation, and I see that these are using this point right here, 4 and 85. So 85 is my y, and it's going to be a minus. And 4 is going to be my x, and it's going to be a minus. And the slope is 25, so it's going to be this one. All right, so if we're doing slope-intercept form, and we have 2 points, the first thing we're going to do is find the slope. And the slope is 2 minus 6 over 3 minus 1. I'm going to not have enough room, but that's all right. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So the slope is going to be negative 2. And then I'm going to have to use point slope form and then solve for y. So I'm going to have y minus 2 equals, I'm going to use this point. Y minus 2 equals negative 2 times x minus 3. Y minus 2 equals negative 2x plus 6. Add 2 to both sides. I end up with y equals negative 2x plus 8, which is C. Okay. Okay, so now I have two lines that are perpendicular. Here's one equation. I want the equation of the other line. So the first thing I'm going to do up here is I'm going to find the slope. And if you remember, the slope is negative a over b, which is negative 3 over 15, which is negative 1/5. So I already know which ones it's not. Okay. Oh, I just did that totally wrong, didn't I? Ooh. Because we're talking about perpendicular. So if that's that slope, the slope of my perpendicular line is going to be positive 5. So I'll just pretend like I meant to do that. There we go. Okay, and it passes through the point 0, which means 3, 0. I'm going to have to put it in my thing here. So I have y equals 5 times x minus 3. I could have put y minus 0 because I'm using point slope form, but that's just 0, so I don't need that. So y equals 5x minus 15. Ooh, I'm glad I read that. What is true about the slope of perpendicular lines? Opposite sign. Reciprocal. Which means flip it, right? All right, when we see rate of change, we're talking about slope. So I'm going to see I'm jumping up by 5, and I'm jumping down by 3. So it's going to be negative, and my 3 goes on top, and my 5 goes on bottom. And I just told you rate of change means slope. Okay, so directly proportional is the same as direct variation. Okay, but you know when it says proportional that you're going to do meters and seconds. So we're going to have 11.25 seconds and 180 meters. Oh, how fast is he skating? Which is slope, which in this case is k. So k equals y over x. I can use either one of these. I should be able to use either one of these. So go with this one. So my y is my 144. And my x is my 9. Because my 9 seconds would be my x, because that's my independent variable. 144 divided by 9, I'm sure I should know what that is. 16. So k equals 16, which is the speed, which is what it asks for, meters per second. All right, number 7. Oh, here goes the tricky ones. Okay, so if we have a parallel line parallel to the y-axis, here's my y-axis. If it's parallel, it's going to be what kind of line? Vertical. Vertical means x. Vertical means undefined slope, and x equals. So if I'm looking for x equals that goes through that point, going to be x equals 5. So if I go over, I can really see 5 and 3 right there. Then I'm going to have a vertical line right here, which is x equals 5. Okay, so if I have a slope of 0, that's my that's my horizontal, that's my y equals. So if I have 4, 7, I have a horizontal line, I'm going to have y equals 7. So it should take you not even as long as it just took me. Okay, so we have $18 for Duplo blocks and $15 for finger paints. And she has $600, so she wants to spend less than that. So this has to be less than or equal to 600. Look at what they do right here. This drives me crazy. They flip around where the P and the B are. So if you're not paying attention, you would pick C when the answer has to be D. This drives me crazy. But that's what they do, so be ready. Okay. Let's put this line on there real fast. It's gonna start at 5, my boundary line. My slope is -2, so I'm gonna go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Your line's gonna be better than mine. It's gonna be dotted. And I'm shading below. So 5, 2, not a solution. 2, 1, yes. 1, 1. And 2, 2, is that going to be on my boundary? No, that's not on my boundary. So I got 2 answers again, didn't I? Maybe 2, 1's on my boundary line too. Let's say that. I think 2, 1 is on the boundary line. But since I drew a bad line, it's hard to tell. Okay, number 11. The slope is, remember this goes first. So it's money earned per hour. So it's B. All right, save up any questions so you can ask me later.